Hi, this is Vince Laura in the College of Applied Health Sciences at the University of Illinois. Today I spend a few minutes with Christian Nielsen, a sophomore in the Recreation, Sport, and Tourism Department of AHS, to talk about his involvement in the Clark-Lindsey Universal Design Competition. All right, so Christian, what are you studying? What year are you in?
I'm currently a sophomore studying Recreation, Sport, and Tourism with a minor in business. I'm looking to get into the field of sports administration. But definitely my implication in the project was definitely the more recreation and tourism side of things.
Yeah, I was interested. So talk to me about iLeap and what your involvement is with that.
So I'm actually part of the iLeap Advisory Board.
Okay.
The iLeap program is a program set up for minority students, first-generation students, students with disabilities, just as a kind of a second support system. Mm-hmm. So our staff with iLeap, April, Carter, and Elizabeth Mason, kind of just provides with different academic support, provided opportunities for example, like with Kaplan and test prep for students that are looking to go into the medical field. Just kind of that second group of advising should anything come up. You need that second input. In
your major, design wouldn't seem to be a fit into it, but so what made you get involved in universal design, and what piqued your interest about it?
It was actually something that was kind of brought to me. So our program coordinator for iLeap, April Carter, kind of thought that this project offered a unique opportunity in the fact that most of the teams that kind of approached the project would come at it from a architectural or like an industrial design perspective, but with Nicole and Marissa's health background, combined with my the availability of recreation and opportunities within the household and how that can play an impact on in terms of mental and physical health, just being able to freely move around your domicile or whatever it may be.
Yep. So that's how that
how we came together.
And how did you link up with Marissa and Nicole?
So Nicole is actually the president of iLeap, and then Marissa is a board member as well.
Okay.
So we've been working together for about 2 years now. Since I was a freshman, I've been involved with the board as much as possible. So they were kind of the ones that jumped at the opportunity along with myself. So we came together to make a pretty good group.
What was the inspiration for the design that you guys came up with?
We wanted to approach it more from not necessarily a guidelines of, it has to be exactly this height off the ground, or every walkway has to be this wide, but more of a wholesome approach to the idea of it's not necessarily just about how the house is designed, but it's about how the things in the house can affect your mental and physical health. So one thing I like to point out is Nicole and Marissa's work with aging and what they've done in different research opportunities on campus. They kind of played into, if this space is filled with stuff, maybe this is going to pose an issue for an elderly person navigating around the room versus someone who may be a little bit younger but in a wheelchair trying to navigate the room. So trying to kind of provide that, emphasize the word universal when it comes to that living arrangement.
What was the biggest challenge, I guess, you guys ran up into with, because some of the, there are rules against how much you can spend, right, $50,000, and it has to fit certain parameters. So what were the challenges that you might have run into with that?
The $50,000 budget was actually pretty generous.
Okay.
I feel like we stayed under about half of that budget actually. But I feel like the biggest issue we ran into was kind of trying to put our ideas in a presentable format. Just because all three of our backgrounds kind of pertain more to the, obviously with them focusing on health, me focusing on the recreation side of things, none of us really had experiment using any type of apps that would involve us, creating 3D models or anything like that. I had the help of an iLeap alum that's an architect kind of working on those things, but I think the biggest part was kind of just trying to translate our ideas into a workable format that we could show people what we were trying to accomplish.
What do you think you learned from this project?
Definitely in the recreation, sport, and tourism field, at least, teamwork's always been a huge thing, and kind of working on projects that accommodate more than, one group of people is always good to understand. Working in the recreation business, there's always going to be times where you need to consider the possibility that not all of your fans would be quote-unquote able-bodied person. So kind of just trying to make, all events, anything we'd ever go about as accessible to everyone as possible.
My thanks to Christian Nielsen. This has been A Few Minutes With.